Now, with the Chicago Bulls, I've made a lot of videos about the NBA draft, and I've made a lot of videos about who I think the Bulls should select. And I've already made my decision that I think the Bulls should get LaMelo Ball with the 4th pick. But there is so much to discuss, and I feel like a little bit of people took things the wrong way, and they always lead towards Deni as the player that could potentially be picked for the Chicago Bulls. And that is all fine and good, and I'm going to talk about why I think Deni is going to be a good player if we do draft him with that 4th pick. But there are still people against this, and let's see if we can try and change their mind, or let's see if they can change some of our minds. Discussions in the comments. Let's do it. What's up, everybody? It's the Aidan Sports Show. Welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be all about Deni. His last name is still beyond me. I'm going to have to learn how to say it, but let's just say you all know who I mean. We're going to be talking about Deni today for the Chicago Bulls. We're going to be talking about that 4th pick and how if we do end up drafting Deni, he will be a fantastic player. So I feel like a lot of people have kind of misquoted me or maybe misunderstood by saying that I prefer LaMelo Ball, that I don't think Deni will be good for us. I think Deni's going to be a fantastic player no matter where he goes, and in many ways the Chicago Bulls could arguably see him over LaMelo Ball. Now I want to discuss this in further detail, and I want to discuss why people also think that Deni is not a player that's worth drafting for the Chicago Bulls. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Aidan Sports Show YouTube channel. Turn notifications on. Let me know in the comments below. As always, man, what do you guys think about Deni? And do you think he is a Luka comparison? Because a lot of people have been linking him to Luka Doncic, and it's very interesting to me that we're going to be linking a player to Luka Doncic. But in the end, a lot of people have their says and opinions, and we respect everybody here. So feel free to let me know what you guys think about Deni. But let's get into the first thing I want to talk about. With the 4th pick of the NBA draft, the Chicago Bulls may pick Deni, and he may end up being absolutely sensational for the Chicago Bulls. I've already talked about his stats in the EuroLeague, and to be honest, European basketball has become a very big force to be reckoned with. So many of the best players in the NBA today are from European or outside of America these days. It's not always American talent that people need to consider. Yes, it is still the most dominant thing in the NBA to have an American superstar. The best player should be American and all these things, but in the end there is more to the European game than meets the eye. We've seen how Luka Doncic has performed in this playoffs. We've seen how Nikola Jokic has performed in the playoffs. We've seen how Rudy Gobert is another one. We've seen out of America players do tremendously well in the NBA, and Deni could be that next player that the Chicago Bulls could have and potentially become a star. But the first thing and the biggest thing that comes into my mind when I'm talking about him is the comparisons he's been linked to. Because this is why people don't really rate Deni. It's not because of anything that he's done. It's because of the people that we're comparing him to. The minute, and no disrespect, if you guys want to link him or compare him to Luka, that's okay. I personally don't really believe in comparing a player to another player in 2 different stages of their career. I don't really find that to be very helpful, but a lot of people do. The first downfall is really comparing Deni to Luka. Luka at the moment is one of a kind. Luka at the moment is so unique and talented that it's borderline impossible to compare him to anybody in today's NBA. He's so unique. He can do everything, and he's doing it at such a high level and at such a young age. Yes, Deni could be the next Luka. He could, but people are saying that he's overhyped and he's overrated because of the people that we're comparing him to. When in reality, we shouldn't really be doing that. We should be eyes focused on what he can improve for our team and not what he could be in the future. Yes, I understand that's what the whole draft is about. Comparing people to other people, comparing players to other players, finding what we need, the best suits for the Chicago Bulls. Whatever's necessary is what we get. Do we get the best talented player? Do we get what we need? In the end, Deni matches our description of what we need. We need a playmaking winger. We need a small forward. A wing defender who can shoot the ball. Deni fits all of that. And to be honest, I would not be surprised if the Chicago Bulls get him. I'm actually borderline well more than 50% sure that we're going to get him just because of the fan demand on this player. The fan demand on this player has been sensational. There's not one person that, well, there's one or two people out of about 20 to 25 new Chicago Bulls fans I've talked to over the past week, even more, have said that they don't want Deni. That means that 23 people, or a little bit more than that, have agreed that they want Deni on the Chicago Bulls. And it's not worth trading the pick. It's not worth giving up the pick. It's not worth anything to give up on that deal. So in the end, the Chicago Bulls have spoken. The fans have spoken. Now it's up to the management to see if they are agreeing with what we're saying. Now, again, moving on to comparing him to Luka, I think that's why people don't really believe in this deal, or don't believe in this player. It's because we're comparing him to someone that's uncomparable. Now, there's also was a article saying that comparing him to Hedo Turkoglu. Hedo Turkoglu is a great player. Hedo Turkoglu was a sensational player. But he ain't Luka Doncic, man. And that's where a lot of comparisons differentiate depending on the person that you speak to. To be honest, a lot of people also have been linking him to a Tony Kukoc or a Scottie Pippen or that type of player as well. And to be honest, any of those players that I've mentioned, whether it's Luka, whether it's Scottie Pippen, Tony Kukoc, or Hedo Turkoglu, and I think the Chicago Bulls would take any of that at this point in time to fix a position that we need. And that's why I'm happy that we're being linked and a lot of people are interested in this guy. It looks like the Chicago Bulls are interested in this guy. Now, just because I picked LaMelo Ball over Deni doesn't really mean anything. But even if people want to say that I'm not really looking into it heavily, I know more about LaMelo Ball than I know about Deni. I don't watch European basketball. So maybe I am wrong by saying you shouldn't compare him to Luka, because maybe there's signs that he is. But I know LaMelo because he played in Australia, and that's where I get a lot of my information from, seeing him play in Australia. Obviously, the Australian game is a lot more noticeable to me living in Australia than living anywhere else. If I was living in Chicago, then I would probably know a lot more about Deni. I'd know a lot more about the American talent than I do about just LaMelo Ball. So I hope everything gets cleared out of the way with that. Now, will the Chicago Bulls take Deni, and would I take Deni at the Chicago Bulls? I think through this entire video, you'll know the answer. Yes, absolutely, I'll take Deni as a Chicago Bull. I'm one of those people that I really don't mind who we pick, because regardless of that, you have to trust the management. It's come in, they're brand new, and they know what they're doing. With drafts, we've done a lot of sensational things. So I will be fine with whoever we pick, to be honest. I'm not going to be over the top excited if we don't get LaMelo or Deni. I'm not going to be, oh, it's done, we're going to boo or stuff like that. But I'm not going to be happy either. If we get LaMelo or Deni, it seems like those are the two players, in my opinion, that really gravitate towards the Chicago Bulls. And I could guarantee you at least one of them will be available. We've got the 4th pick. Hornets could maybe get Deni. Maybe they'll go after a point guard. Maybe they'll go after... who knows what they'll go after. Deni could definitely fall for the Hornets, in my opinion. But in the end, Deni could fall for the Chicago Bulls, and so can LaMelo. One of them will be available, because Anthony Edwards or James Wiseman will probably go 1 and 2. So it just all depends on which one drops for us, and which one do you think we can get away with. We could potentially go and draft up for the 3rd pick. We can trade up. Regardless of what anybody thinks, man, I'm really happy with the situation the Bulls are in right now. And this video might just be another reason to talk about the draft, but in the end, a lot of people really rate this player. They really rate Deni, man. They rate this guy. And I just wanted to get clear. I wanted to clear the air about what I feel about him, because I feel like a lot of people, especially in the comment sections, a lot of people probably felt like I was leaning towards not drafting him at all. That's not the case, man. I really rate the guy. I've seen highlights of him. I haven't seen full games. I've seen comparisons. So I know a little bit about this player, and I'm learning more and more by the day where more people talk about him, talk so glowingly about him. And I feel like I just had to clear the air with where I stand on him, because man, there's not a Chicago Bulls fan that I know that doesn't know who this guy is. There's not a Chicago Bulls fan that I know that is not even intrigued, even in the slightest, whether they want him or not, about this player. So in the end, the Chicago Bulls have a really tough pick on their hands. And for many people, it's going to be the easy pick to just get Deni. a lot of people would definitely say that it's a lot harder than that, and that's where I'm at as well. I don't think it's straight out that easy. Let's just go get Deni, because I do think if LaMelo Ball and Deni are both available, there's a big topic of discussion that a lot of people could be interested in that. But regardless of anything, man, this is the video I wanted to make for today, just to clear the air. We've got more videos coming on the Chicago Bulls, don't get me wrong. Another thing to say about Deni before I go is that when we were the 6th pick, or even a lot of people rumoring us to be the 7th pick, again, and if that happened, I would have went crazy. But a lot of people were saying Deni would have moved down. If you're looking at mock drafts, Deni's the 8th pick sometimes. Like a lot of people are picking Deni for the New York Knicks. A lot of people are picking Deni for the top 6. All these things. So I don't know. I feel like some people rate this guy and some people don't. And it divides opinion. And I've already made my claim and what I said about Deni. I truly believe he's going to be a good player if he comes to Chicago. I think he'll be a good player if he goes anywhere else. And whether he gets picked up in the top 4 or below in the 8th, 9th position, I think this player will be good. I'm going to leave that there. This player will be good. Is he going to be Luka 2.0? I'm going to say I very much doubt that. Will he be a Hito Turkoglu? I very much doubt that as well, to be fair. I don't believe in comparing him to anybody. I think he needs to be his own player. So while we leave that on that note, I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new to the Aidan Sports Show YouTube channel. Let me know in the comments below, do you think that Deni is overrated or underrated? And do you think that he's Luka Doncic 2.0. Can you really compare Luka Doncic to Deni? I want to know that as well. Again, education is key. Yes, I do know a lot more about the player than I did back last week when I made that Bulls got the 4th pick video. I knew little to nothing about him except for his name. But realistically, after seeing him, is he really comparable to Luka? I saw someone in the comment section, a shout out to this guy, said that he was linked to Gordon Hayward. He was compared to Gordon Hayward. I think that's a lot better of a player to compare him to than Luka, to be fair. But in the end, people will make up their own mind, and I'll respect anybody's opinion. That's what this video is going to be about. Have a wonderful day. The next video for the Chicago Bulls, I'm going to go through the entire Chicago Bulls roster. I'm going to play a little game called Keep, Release, or Trade. Very interesting, because there are a lot of Bulls players that honestly don't really have a whole lot of opportunities left before they end up getting their contract exterminated, getting traded. So it's time to see what I think will end up happening to a lot of these players, especially on the bench. Very interesting. I'm looking forward to that video. Have a wonderful day. Take care and peace.